Good morning. It's a wet day today. You might see like a little bit of blurriness on the camera because there's quite a lot of, there's mist coming from the fields and there's a lot of condensation from the rain because it's still quite humid in here. Not like rainforest like, but it's humid. I'm kind of soaked. I'm gonna have a sealer's coat. It's gone to like a navy blue and it was supposed to be black. But as usual, we're out here. So the most important thing is coming out here and touching with the ground, touching with nature. I think I just walked past this woman and I think she thought I was crazy because I just literally had my hands out and my eyes closed and I was just absorbing the rain because there's nothing like grounding yourself in the elements. Full stop, there is nothing like it. Which I guess goes on to the video of what I want to make today. I kind of want to come clean to you guys, if you like, and talk about my crippling anxiety. Some of you may be thinking, well, he seems okay, he's on the internet, he's making videos, he's able to articulate a point. So why would this guy have crippling anxiety? And that's just the thing. I've spent my whole life masking my anxiety. I'll give you a brief history of my anxiety, then we can talk about coping mechanisms. This isn't really a video where I'm going to give answers. I hope this is a video where you can kind of maybe relate to these anxieties, even if you don't have health anxiety, OCD anxiety. You don't have these things. Everybody in life has anxieties. There's your normal anxiety, say doing a cliff jump, or I don't know, you get a gift package to go drive a fast car and you're a little nervous to you don't make a fool of yourself in front of the good drivers. We have those anxieties and we can usually get past them by just experience, just by putting ourselves in the situation, maybe having a mantra. I watched myself back on doing a cliff jump and I noticed my hands were shaking, not in nerves, just shaking to stay my body, and I was sort of like patting my sides and then I did the jump. So the normal anxieties we can usually solve through mantras and experience, but it's the bigger anxieties what deeply affect our body, deeply affect our health, and they don't give us a chance to have life. So brief history. I never really had, I was an anxious child, I should say that, and I had a decent childhood, but I never really had anxiety attacks or panic attacks when I was younger because I guess I just wasn't really. I thought I was just gonna live life very simplistically. I was ready to really just. I had no interest in school, no interest in learning. I just wanted to play video games. I was very ready. I didn't expect to ever find a girlfriend or my family situation. They didn't expect anything from me. It was my outcome in life was just, I was just going to be one of the people you see in the blur. You know, when you sat on the park bench and you see people walking by. I was going to become that person. So I didn't really have anything to be anxious about. I was anxious, didn't really have anything to have anxiety over. Then when I started to develop myself and I found music and I found film and I found all this exciting stuff, and my already flaring consciousness pinned myself to all this information, I wanted to achieve more in life. I wanted to do more. I wanted to, if you like, which may be a foolish pursuit, I wanted to leave the nest and I wanted to do something big. I wanted to do something different, I guess. I wanted to really make my life have meaning. On that path, that's when I started to develop anxiety, because when you want something and you go for it, you find resistance. So my first anxiety attack came in a job I hated. I worked in an office, I was being bullied, I was being underpaid, I was not given the correct tools to succeed, I was never given any training, I was hired on good merit, but then I was either given too much work, so I failed. You know, I would leave on time and I would spend my hour lunch. Everybody else in the office wouldn't spend their hour lunch, they would just stay in the office, but I always went out and I always got like stared at. It's a very uncomfortable environment, and all that anxiety had to go somewhere. And there was nobody around I could talk to, because I was actually one of the first people to get a job in my friend circle. My parents certainly weren't interested. Nobody was interested, so this anxiety had to go somewhere. So my mum used to drive me to work. I know, really cool. And out of shame, when my mum went into the car to get the car ready in the winter morning, I just wrecked my room. I just ripped posters off the wall, just smashed deodorant cans. I just went crazy. I wasn't able to control myself. All that anger had come out. I'm not really an angry person, but all that anger and all that frustration had to go somewhere. It was around this time I was making lots of short films, and I was ready to really jump into that. So I did have a branch of life to save me, if you like, which is an important theme of anxiety. Is you have to find a way out, go through the woods, take that chance. So when I actually went to go play on my short films, I was so beside myself and so nervous. I just stared at the floor, not watching the screen, thinking, what had I done? And there were people around. Sometimes they laughed, and I would think, wait, was that supposed to be funny? Sometimes I would look and it would be like this. I'm like, do they hate it? That's when I started to really get in my head. During the events which shut the world down a few years ago, we all know, if you're watching this way in the future, just research when this video is out, and then, I don't know the rules of saying it, but I've heard that if you say it, your video just gets... So, during that event, I had successfully carved myself a path. I made my first feature film, and it was about to get played in a festival. I had signed sort of like I was going to help a charity organisation in Africa, and I was going to write a book on communication. And then that all got wiped out for me. And when that happened, I blacked out. I remember I was on like a beanbag, and I stood up and I just blacked out. Then after that, or maybe it was before, I think it was before, somebody I admired sent me a message, and I couldn't believe that this person, a filmmaker I admired, sent me a message. I ended up stabbing a knife into my hand, and blood came, and I blacked out. I'm not screaming for blood, so everybody around me was saying, oh, you must be scared of blood, but I wasn't. It was the fear of losing control that I had done this to myself. Life goes on a bit more. I was about to I came back to my film school as alumni. I was about to do a talk. I got so nervous. I was up all night. I was just drinking coffee, and I had such bad stomach cramps. I couldn't walk for 5 days, and we were about to fly to Rome. So the whole holiday was ruined, if you like, because any of you know who have anxiety, you get this brain fog, and you just can't see. I don't know why there's a car sound coming from over there when it's a field. I'm sorry if it's a bit windy, that's why I'm sort of shouting. I usually feel like I film like a pile of videos, and then my OCD kicks in, and then I usually can't. That shot is directly in my line of sight, but I can't, like the noise, but I can't see anybody. But there are woods over there, so I imagine people are shooting, because it is. I am filming this on a Sunday. So yeah, I have a stockpile of videos, and then my OCD kicks in, and I usually refilm something or do something again to try and get it right, try and get a message across better. I have actually already filmed this video. This is kind of fits the video that when you have anxiety, nothing you ever do is right. You're a perfectionist. Next up, I get my wisdom teeth taken out, which I blame myself that they got taken out, even though it was proven it wasn't my fault. They just broke my gums wrong. But I took it really serious. I took it to heart, and I went into this anxiety thing. I actually did quite well. I actually managed to. I worked out before the operation, because I decided to go under, because I didn't want to sit with having 4 teeth taken out. And when I woke up, it was a strange feeling. They released me straight away. I got in the car, and I felt one of the stitches, or a stitch or something dissolve, and I felt blood pour into my mouth. And the shock of it and the nerves of it just made me go white and black out. And I just came to, and my girlfriend thought I was having a seizure. That's how serious that was. You see, even just them, this is how people with health anxiety notice. When I say them, I had a seizure, my brain clicks onto it, and then it starts to think maybe I'm prone to seizures, maybe I'm going to have a seizure when I'm older, which is where I've been at these past 2 months really. So we fast forward later into my life to now, to the present time. I'm just giving you a brief history of how the anxiety is going to my body and really affecting my outlook. My body's been in great turmoil, and I developed these symptoms where I am dizzy. I developed symptoms where I get these migraines. I catastrophize, and I generally think that I am going to die. So in my life recently, I lost part of my livelihood. I've only just now picking my career back up. Everything in my life is actually going well, but I've always had issues with family being the black sheep. I've always had issues with friends, and my relationship's going decent. So there are positives in my life, but people with anxiety know that doesn't really matter. So as of recent, I convinced myself I was dying. I convinced I had the big words, cancer, MS. I convinced myself I developed something extreme because I kept waking up and I kept feeling dizzy. And I kept, when the symptoms kicked in, when I would wake up and I would wait for the symptoms, and the symptoms would come, and then the anxiety and the adrenaline would kick in, and then I would generally start to go down the path of, oh, I have this, I have that, but then I'd be too scared to go to the doctors, and you just get yourself into this horrible circle. And right now, as I'm making this video, I am fixated on the fact that I mentioned my girlfriend thought I had a seizure, so therefore in my head thinks that I did have a seizure, or I'm capable of having a seizure. It goes into OCD when I work on a music video or work on a film, or whatever I edit, even if I'm doing these videos, I listen to it back compulsively, thinking, have I said the right thing? It can actually be quite decent in editing, because I think when you edit a video, you take a photo or whatever, sometimes it takes 5 or 6 different recorrections, if you like, to get the perfect image and get the thing across. So it kind of works for me, but I take it to the extreme. I'll sit on something for years. I've sat on a film for years. I made a film when the world got shut down, made it very cheap, and I actually finished editing the film 2 years ago, but I constantly just spent 2 years tweaking it, and now I've about finished it, but I'm still tweaking it, even though the film should be done and wrapped up. So as I was saying, I tap the desk next to me when I go to bed, at the bedside table. It's made out of wood. I tap it, and if I don't do that, I think I'm going to die. I think the world's going to die. All this comes from my environment, because I am not. There's a conflict with my personality where I have absolute confidence, and I find myself in leadership roles, and I find myself. I kind of doing videos like this, and I find myself. I am the person where if it was midnight and you were to say, let's go into an abandoned church, let's go, I'm ready. If we're going to go into a voyage across the sea, I'm there. I am that person. But then I struggle to order things in a cafe. I can't pick up the phone. I know that's an issue with my generation, but I can't. So I sometimes think that's more to do with environmental than actually myself, the phone calls. I struggle to look at an email, even if it's like an email from if I see an email and it says something like just something negative in the even if it's like you get a security breach and you go on Google from a different device. If I see one of them, I get anxious. So I get anxious at kind of small things, and the big things I can have absolute confidence. So there is this real conflict, if you like, inside of me. It's this real turmoil. I don't have the answers, because this is a journey I'm on for life. But one thing I do know, one thing I've been practicing recently is you practice acceptance. When the symptoms come and anxiety come, you actually make peace with it. You become friends with the anxiety. I know that sounds crazy. So when you have the thought, oh, maybe I am prone to seizure, maybe I'm going to have a seizure, maybe I have MS, maybe I have cancer, you take those thoughts and you befriend them. And this is really working for me. It's when I have these dizzy spells, I say to myself, my body is kicking my ass. This is my own mantra, maybe you pick a different one. I deserve this. I have lived a life where I have been so anxious. I have Some things are out of my hands. I have not controlled myself properly. I have not controlled my life properly. I've used this body wrong, this vessel wrong. And you are now turning up. This is the symptoms. The symptoms are now turning up to teach me a lesson. To show me that what I'm doing, how I'm living is incorrect. And when they come, so right now I can feel the symptoms coming, the dizziness, and the slight, the tunnel vision where it sort of like warps you back. When I feel them, I say to myself, if I am going to have a seizure, so what? It is you go into the darkness. If my brain thinks this, it doesn't mean it's right. Look at the pattern. Look at the trajectory I'm on. It's been a difficult 2 months for me. I'm having these body anxiety attacks. It makes common sense, it makes logical sense that right now I would catastrophize and I'd really throw that symptom up into the treetops, if you like, and really make it a big thing. That's what you have to do. You have to, when the symptoms come, when anxieties come, even if you don't have health anxiety, even if you don't have, and this isn't even my advice. This is advice which I've learned through different avenues on the internet. I've learned through my own research and books. You have to attack the problem when the problem comes up. When the problem, whatever it is, you're scared of losing money, don't run from the problem. Let the problem come to you. And if your body is reacting negatively against it, listen to your body, accept your body, learn to love the anxiety, because the issue comes with, I'm going to lose my image. My co-worker has that car. They have this bombshell of a wife. They're going on holiday. That doesn't matter. Somebody else is doing that. You're not. You have to learn to kind of, in a way, love the darkness. Now, this is a very slippery slope, because you don't love the darkness too much when you go into a depression. It's kind of one out of that. You say to yourself, everybody on this planet has problems. Just because it appears he's going on holiday, it appears he has a cool wife, it appears that he has a cool car. We can't go for material possessions anymore. You got a cool car, so what? The real things that matters are you gonna value yourself? So for example, if you see somebody with a cool wife, but there's no groundwork for this, there's no, oh, that woman just looks cool, as opposed to, oh, I think she's cool because. If there's a cool because, you learn off that person, oh, I would want that in my life. You don't become jealous. You say to yourself, I would want that. Don't worry about cars, guys. Don't worry about cars. Life is too short. Worry about coffee and wines and nature and good books and great conversations and fun nights. Worry about that. They are the things we fight for. They are the things that make us human. They are the things we live for. Worry about them. Don't worry about these material because there's always going to be somebody who has more than you. That's the crazy thing. So what? Somebody down your street has a nice car. Somebody in a different country is going to have 10 of those cars. Like it doesn't matter. You're stepping onto that race. You have to, when the anxiety comes, you have to say, what are you showing? What is your body? What is your mind showing you? And you have to kind of embrace it in a way. I'm kind of lucky that my body can show me these things, because some people go through life and their mind and their body doesn't teach them anything or tell them anything, and they go through blissfully ignorant. At least your body is kicking you. At least your body is telling you something is not right. You need to sort of make a change. So that's my advice. And I guess my second advice is, like I was saying, this is an ongoing journey within myself. Anyway, I think this might be a standalone video. I'm going to cut relationships off soon. Then we're going to move on to some more standalone videos. I've got a lot of topics for standalone videos. And then we might come back to anxiety. I might give you a catch up later in the year. I am on the path of healing right now. I had 7 great months where I was anxiety free, I was exercising, I felt so good. And then life came for me, and it came for me hard, and I wasn't ready. This is kind of good teaching itself. I kind of lured myself into a false sense of security. I believed everything was decent, and I felt good, and I just took my foot off the accelerator, and I wasn't ready. And what happened to me, I have to let go, because basically in the UK flooding, my narrowboat sunk, and this is the second time this has happened. It happened, and I didn't deserve it. Me and my partner didn't deserve it, but you have to then learn how to, accept what is given you. So I'm back on the path of healing. I will start exercising. I do walks now, basic stretches. I have stopped getting out of my head so much of these videos now as well, because there's nothing you learn. You learn the people that you like the most in life are usually people who are honest and people who are just themselves. There's this thing when you watch like celebrities get interviewed that you have to, because celebrities are actors. Actors are always acting. Their personality is an act as well. It's to sell a film or something. When we see that, we can think that we have to come across that way. But usually the people what I'm most attracted to are the people what are real. So I have to get out my head even when I make these videos. So whatever it is in your life you have to do, you have to get out of your head and you have to think, don't be another suit and tie. Because if you do try and fit in that box everybody else wants you to do, you will be a shell, you will be a pill, and you don't want to be that, because that is where the anxiety comes from. It comes from not having individuality. It comes from the environment. All my anxiety has been brought onto me because I was not the person my friends and my family wanted. I wasn't the person they once knew. I wasn't the person they thought I should be. So my environment attacked me, you see. Okay. A few of my subscribers have reached out to me on Insta. I do not in any way say follow me or anything like that, or subscribe, because I am a big believer in free will, and I believe that, and this isn't me trying to brainwash any of you guys, if you I don't look at comments, and the reason for I don't look at comments is because I think positive comments can be bad for you, I think negative comments can be bad for you, and the work I'm doing is just there to stand alone, and then you guys can dissect it and pick it apart. But if you are struggling with things and you want to reach out, I do have Instagram. I will get you. I work online, so I'm usually always with my phone, so I can get there quite fast. So if you do have something you want to talk to, one of these videos is raised something in your life. There has been a few people that have reached out to me. Please feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram tag is in the detail section below. Okay, have a good week. Enjoy yourselves. Don't let things get you down. Ciao.